Hello, everyone. I hope that you have had a very productive fair. We hopefully we are hopeful that you enjoyed this day. We have certainly have enjoyed all the sessions today. And welcome to our session today. We are going to present on are you eligible for financial aid as a graduate student? My name is Juan Manuel Molina, and joining me today I have,
Mabel Martínez.
and we are both Education USA advisors for Mexico. And we'll be presenting today. So before we start, I actually have three announcements for you. One is that you can start sending your questions to the Q&A section. Actually, one of my colleagues, Jackson Cruz, is going to be there handling your questions, and we'll be answering some of those at the end of the presentation, so you don't have to wait till the end to send your questions. Number two, remember that the materials for this fair will be available for 1 month after today. So if you missed any session, you can go back and review it again and see the videos. And then the third announcement that I have is that this session comes also with a handout that you can access um, in the front page of the sessions. You will be able to download that handout with a lot of the information, most of the information from today's session on a PDF. So without any further ado, please, Mabel, we're all yours.
Thank you, Juanma. Um, Thank you all of you for being here. And before we answer the main question of this webinar, I would like to discuss with all of you what can we understand as financial aid, since there will be different types of financial aid. So basically, next slide, please. So basically, financial aid can be understood as all types of money, loans, and work or study programs offered to students to pay for their education. And that means you will have the possibility to obtain resources to cover not only your tuition, but also other supplies, materials, living or travel costs, or other expenses that you might incur of while you are studying in the US or preparing to study in the US. But regardless the type of financial aid that you aim to apply for, you should know these types of financial aid can come from different sources, such as federal or state governments, private or public universities and colleges, and so on. So you will have a wide range of opportunities, and of course, knowing them or searching for each of them will take you time. This process of looking for financial aid is time consuming. So it is important that you start doing your financial planning as early as possible. Probably, I will say 1 year or 1 year and a half before your intended program of study start date. And especially if you want to apply for financial assistance that comes from US universities, take into consideration that usually, not always, but applications for financial aid go together with application for admissions. So be aware that before you submit your application, you need to understand the guidelines and compromises of each of the different types of financial aid that you will see, and determine if you are eligible or not. And we are going to talk about eligibility a little bit later. So next slide, please. Following on this idea of what types of financial aid are available at US institution, I would like to explore with you some of the most common types. So in the first place, we have scholarships that are gifts or financial supports, and they are usually granted to cover student tuition, academic fees, housing, textbooks, etc. And one of the greatest advantage of the scholarships is that they don't need to be repaid by the students. They also can be full or partial, and they will be available for undergraduate and graduate students. Usually, they are granted based on the past experience or performance of the candidates. In this case, for graduate candidates, you might find scholarships for academic merit, or maybe for according to your specific area of study. For example, if a quick example that I can share with you is for those interested in pursuing a master in international development, for example, at the University of Chicago, along with the Obama Foundation, offer a full scholarship for this specific degree. Also, for example, if you are a PhD, if you're looking for a PhD in civil engineer, for example, you will find scholarships available at different universities, such as University of Washington or University of Virginia, University of Texas A&M. What is the best way to know about these scholarships? Along with your Education USA advisor, you can explore and find specific scholarships opportunities depending to your profile and area of studies. And another quite interested common type of financial aid available in the US are fellowships. They are prestigious and even more competitive than scholarships. And usually they cover some of the same cost or criteria that scholarships, but they are offered usually in exchange of doing a short-term professional development. And that is why they are usually offered only for graduate students. They can last a few months and maybe a couple of years. And for these specific fellowships, you can find several depending on the university or and an example of this, for example, is the Humphrey Fellowship Program. That is one of the many opportunities available through the Fulbright program. Next, please. Another really common type of financial aid are graduate assistantships. Probably outside of the US, they are not really known, but they are a really great source for you to help you covering your graduate programs. They are a form of paid academic employment in which students receive tuition reimbursement for perform different tasks. Depending on the type of graduate assistantship that you obtain, you can obtain a research, teaching, or service graduate assistantship. You will have to perform different tasks for different people within the university, either faculty members, researchers, departments, and different areas within the university. And in return, you will only have to work 20 hours per week. So it is a really good deal. If you're not able to obtain a graduate assistantship, you can still work 20 hours per week, and you can work and study within the campus. So international students can work on campus up to 20 hours per week during the academic term and up to 40 hours during breaks. How are you gonna check where are these opportunities available? Please reach out to your international student office at your campus, or you can also explore the website of the university. And last, we will have loans that, contrary to all the types of financial aid that we have explored, they are usually allowed to candidates to borrow money that must be repaid, and that's the main difference. You need to repay the money that they are given to you, and you have to return the money with interest. And this is still a great way to help you covering your graduate program. And there will be quite good opportunities here. For example, the Roan Phone, provided by the Organization of American States. It's an education loan that is interest-free. So you might have access to opportunities like this. And Last, please. Thank you. And finally, this is just a list of the main websites where you can explore and try to search for the different financial aid types that you can get from different sources. But my best advice is that you can reach to your nearest Education USA advising centers. There you will find useful and tailored information according to your needs and to your specific program of study. Again, you can explore these websites, or as Juanma mentioned at the beginning, on the handout that you will find in the front page of the session information, you can explore these sites.
Right. Thank you so much, Mabel. Well, now that you have understood what financial aid is, now we want to talk about then what are these well, you understood that this money can come from the universities, from government, from local institutions, from foundations. So what are they looking for? What is the profile of the student that they are in search of? So one of the things that you want to consider is that they are all looking for merit, academic merit. So that means that you are a good student. And this is going to be shown in grades, but not only in grades, but also in ways that you have engaged with academia. Maybe you participated in research in your school. Maybe you did your thesis, right? So your academic merit can show in a few other ways than just your grade. A grade is one of the best ways to have it, but there's also other things that you can do to show your engagement with academia. You also want to show that you have a very good academic path, professional path in your past, that you're coming, that there's a clear way that they can see that you're coming from and where are you headed. What is your professional career plan? What are your future career goals? So this is very important because they want to know that they are investing. Remember that all of these sources from financial aid, they have money that they want to invest in the best possible applicant. So you want to show them that you are a good candidate to receive that financial help. So and if you haven't worked on this, you need to work on explaining very well your vision. Why do you want to go to grad school? And what do you want to accomplish after that? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, and how this specific scholarship is going to help you to get there? Another thing that they are looking for is evidence that you will finish your degree. So this can be shown in your CV by evidence of having started and finished other programs or other projects that you have. So leadership is very important to be shown also in this, that it also provides evidence that you are a responsible person that will finish a program. Some of these programs also are looking for financial need, not all of them, but some of them are looking for to help individuals who need financial support. Some scholarship programs don't have this feature. So for example, the Fulbright program doesn't include information about your financial need, but probably some institutions or schools are going to have a section where you need to provide financial proof that you need that money. And one of the things is, like, in this very busy marketplace that we have today, there's many applicants for grad school and for all of these scholarships. So they're very competitive. So you want to find your uniqueness and find what makes you, what things make you you, right? And it might sound silly sometimes, but you want to find your uniqueness and exploit it to the benefit of getting these scholarships. So find out what is your uniqueness and use it. Other things that you won't need to consider is that some of these financial aid opportunities have very specific requirements regarding, for example, nationality. Some schools, for example, are going to have um, special interest in specific ethnic groups. Maybe sometimes because they're looking to diversify their student body. Maybe they have a long tradition of having students from a specific country and they want to diversify it. Maybe they have too many male students and they want to have more female students, so they create a special scholarship for women in that specific program. So you want to look at those also, um, those things that you can consider for the financial aid that you apply. Another thing that is important is that you need to pay attention to the trends in governments and in industry, because that will give you an idea of where is the money going. So for example, let's say that there's a scholarship, that there's a government, and this government for this term is very interested in renewable energy and clean energy. So it's very likely that there will be industries open and probably scholarships that this government is going to have for people who want to study on that specific topic. So you want to see that if there's any trends that there might be that might help you to get more money because you might be in those areas. Um, Knowing also where the money is coming from. So, for example, if it's coming from the government, if it's coming from a specific industry, if it's coming from a foundation, if it's coming from a government organization, you want to know what are these organizations and institutions standing for, and see what are their values, and see where do you fit with those values. So for example, if you want to apply for the Fulbright scholarship, you know that the Fulbright scholarship is a the Fulbright Commission and the Fulbright programs are programs that are towards helping mutual understanding, increase mutual understanding between the people of the United States and people of other countries. So you can highlight how you are going to fulfill those goals and those objectives, and so you can become a better candidate for that scholarship. So some of those, so you need to know, understand where the money is coming from, and then learn from the institution so you can understand how you can better apply for that, for those funding opportunities. So now that you know what is financial aid and also what is the profile that the schools are looking for, maybe at this moment you are making an evaluation of yourself, and hopefully you are, and saying, wow, there's certain things that I need to improve. Maybe at this point I'm not eligible for some of those things, but maybe I am eligible for other things. So, our, also we want to provide you with some examples and ways that you can improve your health, your profile. And the first one is that you want to make an honest assessment of where you are standing right now regarding your profile and your qualifications. Are there any things that you need to work or improve? Um, Maybe you can think about your English proficiency level. Maybe you can think of there's lack of professional experience in your professional path. Maybe you don't have a clear idea of what you want to do with your graduate program or 5 years from now. So those are things that you can work in and improve and change. Um, so identify those areas and work on those. One of the things that we really say, and is a very important topic in Education USA, is you want to work and focus on the program fit and not really on the money. And this might sound contradictory to you, because this is actually a talk about eligible for money, and we're going to say don't focus on the money. But it is actually very useful because you want to focus on the fit for the program. If the program has what you are looking for, and if you are what they are looking for. So for example, when I was doing my school search, I almost didn't apply to the school that I actually went to, because I look at the price tag and I said that is very expensive. There's no way I can pay that, so I'm not going to go for that. At the end, I included it into my plan, and that's where actually they offered me a really generous scholarship, and I ended up going there. But because I focused on the program, if I liked the program, and if the program helped me to get to where I wanted to be. So that's one thing that you really need to do. Another thing is look for mentors. There's people that have walked your path, the path that you want to be in, and find them and get them to be your mentor. Get interested in their lives and ask them, how do you get to where you are? Maybe if you want to study an MBA, find people that have studied MBA in the US and ask them how was their process, how was their experience living there. You can use LinkedIn to find people that have a similar path that you are interested in, and become that, follow them and contact them. People love to talk about themselves. So if you say, can you tell me and help me to understand and see how I can be more like you? They're gonna love that. So that's something that you can do. Um, Attend all of the EducationUSA advising center events like this. So I really congratulate you for being here. But also every advising center has different ways, webinars and presentations that we do um, to help you improve your profile. So that's one thing that I really recommend. If you need to enroll for TOEFL courses, do what you need to do after you make your personal assessment and see where do you need to grow. And very important is that you need to, when you do this assessment, you need to know exactly, you need to know the time that you want to get things done. This is very important. Sometimes, in my case, if I don't write it down and if I don't make a plan, it is not going to happen for me. So one of the things that you can do is write down your plan. So maybe it's not going to work. Let's say that maybe it's not realistic for you to think of applying for grad school for 2021, but you say maybe I really want to do it for 2022. So you say by August of 2021, I want to have my GRE done. And the summer for next year, I want to work on my essays. And so you write it down and try to follow through with your plan. Because if not, maybe this is, if you're like me, these things may not happen for you if you don't write them down. And the last thing that I want to say today regarding this with a suggestion is that you need to also be aware that your path is unique. Don't compare it to others, because sometimes you say, oh, I'm already 30, I'm already 32. And like my friend went to grad school when she was 27 or when he was 25, and I'm still here and I haven't done even my process or something. So remember that you're unique and your process is going to be unique. Every year also adds to your professional experience. So it is very important that you see this as your own process and look for Education USA advices that can help you to close to Education USA, so we can help you in your own unique path. And with that, I'm going to continue to the Q&A section. So I'm ready for your questions. So
thank you, Juan Manuel and Mabel, for such an insightful presentation. We do have a few questions from our audience today. And the first one is, at what point do I start looking for financial aid within the application process for a master's or a graduate program?
Yeah, as I mentioned during the presentation, usually we recommend that you start looking for scholarships 1 year or 1.5 years before the program, the start date of the program that you are intended to do in the US, because it is time consuming, not only the process to look for financial aid, but also to search for your ideal program of a study. So we recommend 1 year on or 1.5 years before.
Thank you, Mabel. And another question, can I begin a master's degree while taking an ESL program or being an ESL student?
Not really. Every school is going to have their own requirements, and they have language specific requirements for the English level. So sometimes what you might get is a conditional admission, which might be because of your English level. So you will get into ESL classes until you have the level that you need in order to start your academic classes.
Thank you, Juan Manuel. And another question is, do only private schools offer financial aid or assistantships for international students?
No. Assistantships are available either in private and public universities and colleges.
Thank you, Mabel. And what can I do if my GPA for my undergraduate degree was low? How can I improve that in order to get a full scholarship for a graduate program?
That is a very good question, because we have many advisees that they didn't, well, not that they didn't know that they needed good grades, but it was after they finished that they really took it seriously, that they wanted to do a master's degree in the United States. And like we said, a good GPA is going to help you to get um, a better chance of getting financial aid. With that being said, it is not the only thing that it's taken into consideration for getting a good financial aid. Um, so I would say that if you know that you are weak in that area, then you need to prepare a stronger application with the other elements in your application. So you may need to work very, very hard writing a very compelling essay and say, why do you want to get into this program? You may need to work extra hard to get a GRE higher than the average, a really strong TOEFL scores. Work on your professional experience, on all the other aspects, and your letters of recommendation, who your recommenders are. So if you know that you are weak in one section, like your GPA, then if you want to get a good financial aid offer, then I would say work even harder on the other sections of your application.
Excellent. So you answered like 3 questions right there.
Oh, cool.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. And another question is, can I apply to several scholarships at the same time while doing my master's or my graduate program? How will that work?
Yeah, that will depend on the scholarships that you will that you aim to apply for. Usually you can. You will be able to apply and stack scholarships, but I recommend that you really read the guidelines and the compromises of each scholarships, because you need to be 100% sure that you will not get in trouble to apply for several scholarships. But usually there is possible to stack scholarships for covering your graduate program.
Thank you, Mabel. And so this goes together, it ties together to the previous questions. How important do you think it's the GRE for acquiring an assistantship or a really good scholarship, a full funded scholarship for an international student? Do you think this is a main pillar for it?
That is a very good question too. It is a bit, so probably I will answer this a little bit more broadly, but every piece of evidence that you can provide to the admission committee that you are a good option for them is going to help you for that. So so it depends on the school also, but some schools say send your GRE and we will take it into consideration, but many times you don't know exactly how important it is for each school. So you don't want to say, sometimes you can get that information and say, okay, for this school, they don't take it that much into consideration. For this other school, it is very specified in their webpage that they really need, that if you don't get this GRE, then don't bother applying, right? So that gives you an idea. But with that being said, like I said, is every piece of evidence your professional history, your goals, your essay. Every part will be important. Now, considering that the present situation that we have, where a lot of schools are going test optional, especially with the GRE. My suggestion will be that, again, work harder in the other sections. If your school is not going to take into consideration the GRE and they consider it optional, I would say do it anyways. If they say, oh, it's optional, I would suggest doing it. Whatever piece of evidence, again, that you can provide that you are a qualified student, go ahead and do it. Why not do it? And if you have the financial resources and you can take the GRE, go ahead and take it. And if not, then you need to, again, work hard in all the other pieces of evidence that provide information about you and your academic qualifications and professional.
Excellent. And with this last question, we're going to wrap up. Does knowing two languages make you more eligible for financial assistance at an institution? Will more qualify per se? And how do I make an organized plan? What do I do? Where do I go? How do I do this?
Mabel, do you want to go ahead? I have an answer,
Yes.
but go ahead.
No, go ahead. Actually, yeah, go ahead and answer, Juan Manuel. I just want to make the statement that please consider that scholarships and admissions are a holistic process. So you need to focus on everything, not just in one single thing, because people, committees are going to evaluate everything together.
Yeah. And adding to that, there's one thing that I don't really like to say, but it is true, that it depends. And and one of those, and this is one of those things. So for example, if you know into languages, for example, I know for some of my friends in grad school, it helped them because they were able to be teaching assistants of languages that were not really common. So for example, a couple of my friends from Africa that they could speak Swahili, they were TAs for Swahili, right? And another one was a TA for Spanish. But if you don't have teaching experience, and if you are not studying for something similar, you might not get access to those. So let's say that you're going to school because you want to study theoretical physics. So you're not going to be assigned to teach Spanish and get a TA-ship for that. Maybe there's a research project that has to do with the language that you know. So you need to find those opportunities. But if you are not into that field, I would say that sometimes it's not really helpful unless that you're doing something specific with that, or you're going to school for something like that. So we had some students that spoke an indigenous language, and it really helped them to get financial aid because they were going to do something with that in the school, but they were going to study something similar to that. So with that caveat, I would say that sometimes it is helpful, sometimes it is not going to help you depending on what you want to study.
Thank you, Juan Manuel. Such an insightful information on graduate studies. And just adding up to that, how do I make a game plan? Contact your EducationUSA advisor. You can go to educationusa.state.gov. We have qualified individuals who will go ahead and help you create an organized plan, provide you with tools and information for you to prepare. All right, so we have presence in 175 countries around the world with more than 430 centers. So reach out and we are here to help you. Again, thank you everyone for being here and participating on this time first virtual fair from EducationUSA. Hope you guys have a great
Thank you everyone. Have a good
Enjoy the fair. Bye.
Bye.